Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to be talking about the new S-Class tune that's coming out, which is S-Class Frost. And before I jump into my video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more information on The Walking Dead Road to Survival. And now, jumping into Frost. He is the first human shield 6-star tune that will be gracing the RTS world. As a 5-star, we already see heavy defensive and HP stats. His rush also revives a teammate, and he has the ability to heal all teammates up to 25% of their max HP for 3 turns. This, I think, makes him a really effective shield because he can be used as both a human shield and as a method of reviving your fallen teammates. When we move on to Frost as a 6-star tune, we see that his rush goes up to 76 AP. He still revives one teammate with 50% of their max HP, but now all teammates can regain up to 30% of their max HP for 5 turns. So get out those 100% heal reduction tunes, as well as remember to decap. Again, with the 6-star tune, we notice heavy defensive stats. Now, his attack is slightly higher comparatively. When we were first looking at his 5-star tune, his attack was quite low, but now his HP, defense, and his attack are close to being balanced, except he has more defense, which is obviously a good thing on a human shield, because it means he will take less damage based on the attack coming in. When we go on to his active skill, it's a turn 3 active skill. This character gets 50% bonus HP. Now, personally, I probably wouldn't level up this active skill. I don't find it nearly as useful as him being a human shield and using his rush ability to bring back other teammates. And finally, when we start to look at S-Class Frost, we notice huge defensive stats. Now, his attack as well as his HP are about the same. I do wish, well also kind of don't wish, that his HP was slightly higher than his attack, only because he is a human shield and he doesn't really do any damage. But at the same time, I think that would only boost him too much. Like, he's already such a great character by being the first human shield S-Class tune. If he ever does rush, he can revive a teammate. He can provide that 30% healing factor to all teammates for 5 turns, which is a significant amount. So again, 100% heal reduction is the way to go, I think. I still don't like his active skill as an S-Class tune or as a 6-star. Just bonus HP. I don't find it as useful because you can bleed through it, you can burn through it, you can use maim, but then again, there are methods of either resisting that, there are ways of curing it, and it shouldn't be that much of a problem in my opinion for Frost, but I think it will be the method I'll have to go when attacking against him. I can definitely see people using a new impair with elusive weapon on him along with a big disarm resist, so that when you're forced to attack him, you are likely to trigger his weapon. Now, the type of defensive team I'm predicting, and we're pretending right now that Magna is Frost because they're both a human shield. Xander can be swapped out for Slater if you have him, but S-Class Mercer lead, S-Class Angel, S-Class Frost, Raven, and then having in a command tune. I think this will be a very strong defense, and the reason behind that, and you could probably even use Angel as a lead instead and then swap someone else in behind, maybe even Dr. Stevens for that AP gain and fast rushes. Because right now, obviously, the biggest threat to an all-blue team is S-Class Arav. Because once he starts to rush, he doesn't really stop. His follow-up ability and then also his rush gives himself 100% AP. So the reason why I went with a team like this, so if Mercer was the lead, he starts off with having the ability to stun up to 5 enemies on the first turn, and from my experience, when he's the leader, there's at least one tune that's stunned on the opponent's team. Even if they have perfect stun resist mods, there's still that chance of someone being stunned, and in the case of my offense, I need all my tunes available so that I can build AP and control the enemy's tunes. His rush is also 66 AP, which is fast. He can deal 800% damage, has the ability to stun up to 3 enemies for 2 turns, and then when he's on the defensive team, he can gain plus 75% bonus HP. So he's a pretty tanky tune, along with a significant amount of attack on his rush. And before, when I was talking about bleeding out the S-Class Frost, well, Mercer has an active skill that can recover from bleed, burn, as well as maim. So even if someone led off with a Relito lead or was trying to bleed out the toon, Mercer has an ability that lets him actually cure them of this, as well as applying elusive to himself, which, in the case of this team, shouldn't be that big of an issue, just because if you're running a human shield, then obviously the opponent is forced to attack that toon unless they're able to stun it, taunt it, confuse it, or they're able to focus their team so that they can hit around it. Even if someone wants to try and stop Mercer at the beginning, so if you're trying to bleed out the team and you don't want Mercer to cure them of that penalty, he comes with a stun weapon. So if you attack him, you could end up stunned in an additional way. So his lead skill can stun you, his rush can stun you, and his weapon. If you attack him, you have a great chance to get stunned. Now, of course, there's Angel, who a lot of people run on defense as the lead toon, which I think is a fairly good idea. Her leadership skill dazes all enemies for 1 turn, so that stops all active skills. So that's like Dr. Stevens, that's like Cole, that's like anyone who has a turn 1 active skill that gives you that boost at the beginning of a match. Her rush is also 66 AP, which is fast. She deals 400% damage, so not that much, and it's to a line of enemies. But up to 3 enemies get 3,000 trauma for 3 turns. And the way that trauma functions is that for every penalty that is recovered on the other team, if that toon is inflicted with trauma, they will get 3,000 of unmitigated damage all at one time. So if they recover from stun, that's 3,000 damage right away. If they were stunned as well as burned, for instance, and recovered from both, then that's 6,000 damage right away. What Angel also has going for her is her own turn 1 active skill, which is Exhaust, which is applied up to 5 enemies. So the way that Exhaust works is that if the opponent uses unnatural AP gains, so that's like Dr. Stevens, for example, where his active skill gives himself 100% AP, which would be 5,000 maim damage right away, or his weapons, which give 2 enemies 40% AP when being attacked on occasion, so that would be 2,000 maim damage to those 2 teammates, or on his rush, where he gives 60% AP to 2 teammates, that would be 3,000 maim damage. So this skill is extremely valuable. It works against rushes, active skills, special weapon skills that give unnatural AP gains. So we're not talking about, AP on attack or AP when defending. So my next toon of choice was Slater, and I love a good command toon on my attack team and even on my defense team. Command toons create chaos. They can also give you control as the attacker. What I like about Slater is that on his rush, he can deal bleed damage to a line of enemies, so it pairs well with trauma if they try to recover from that bleed damage. He gives focus to all his teammates, so in the case of the Human Shield Frost, it means we wouldn't have to mod as much against, say, Confuse and Taunt, because if Slater is able to give him focus, he can ignore those abilities anyway. His rush also revives 1 teammate with 75% of their max HP, so if Frost goes down but isn't decapped by crosshairs or a normal decapitation, then Slater still has the ability to revive him. And here I'm not saying you have to use Slater on this team. It was just an example because I like command toons. As I mentioned before, they create chaos, and it's hard to predict what they're going to do. Now, the extra bit of Slater that I find to be very pleasing, I guess, is his active skill. It's a turn 3 active skill that can revive a teammate. So Slater has 2 ways to revive someone on his own team, both by his rush and on his active skill, which makes him to be really valuable, in my opinion, on both attack and on defense. You could definitely use a toon like Dale or like Xander, who was in the League store before, or really any other command toon, because their main job is to create confusion and chaos, and with Human Shield Frost already having a revival ability, like, you can get it to trigger or you cannot get it to trigger based on the weapon that you give Frost. Now with Slater, he does have a bound weapon. I would probably switch this out, so make it a 5-star weapon and then weapon swap it. So I would just make him a very defensive build of a weapon. Like, you could probably leave this if you didn't want to put the effort or you don't have armory tokens, I would probably add AP on attack and then just increase the HP as a quick fix, because if he rushes, the focus is huge for your team. It just really eliminates the amount of control the enemy has over your team. Focus is just one of those abilities that I think will always be great. Now, the next toon that I would put on this team, and I would put her in the far opposite corner that you put Frost in, is Raven. So what I like about Raven is not as much her rush and her specialist skill. Both help her. Like, the 650% damage isn't that much, but being able to apply both Impair and minus 20 AP to a line of enemies is helpful. And again, she can regain 60% HP for 2 teammates. Her specialist skill, Indomitable, helps her stay alive longer because every time she takes damage, whether it's bleed, burn, normal attack, she'll get an additional 30% damage for that turn, and that ability stacks. So she can become quite tanky in a single turn, which helps her with survivability. But the real reason why I chose Raven is because of her active skill. So it's a turn 1 active skill, and it applies elusive to the whole team excluding herself, which is why I want her far away from the human shield. So by giving elusive to her teammates, it means that no matter how many times the opponent attacks a toon under elusive, they will not gain any AP. Now, her as a combination with Angel works really well because Angel's exhaust will help prevent toons from using unnatural AP gain. So that's like Dr. Stevens again, Gal, Michelle. Arav, when he rushes, he gains 100% AP again and again and again. Well, with Raven, all of a sudden you're applying elusive now to the rest of the team, and as long as she's far away from Frost, it means the opponent needs to find a way to focus early on in order to target Raven. Not only do they need to target her, they need to disarm her, because her weapon has a, when being attacked, a 50% chance for the enemy to get minus 40 AP. This team would be a solid stalling team in my opinion, because it would be very difficult to daze both Raven as well as Angel, and then on top of that you'd be forced to attack Frost as a shield, and if you give him an Impair weapon with elusive, well then it just becomes really, really difficult. Give him a disarm resist, and this type of team would be a great stall out team, I think. You have a potential to stun, you have a potential for damage, you can bleed them, you have a way to recover from bleed, burn, as well as maim. You're not applying a huge amount of damage to the opponent's team, so they can't just throw on all payback toons and just expect for you to kill them or for you to kill yourself off of the payback as much. Now, this is just the type of team that I envision with S-Class Frost. I'm sure that you guys all have your own ideas on him. And right now, with Normalize not working properly on human shields, I think it's even more difficult in order to find a counter to this type of team. So thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.